What's up? It's LL Cool J. Checking out THISIS50.com.
Met this little girl, she was off the hook. I got cold chills when her body shook. Hot sex on the platter, no need to cook. I let her steal my heart like a crook.
I just recently released my final record under my contract, Def Jam, but I'm still making music and enjoying, making great music, and I'm just having a good time, man. I've done a lot of things in my career. I have a clothing line at Sears right now, exclusively at Sears, that is doing really well. The name of the collection is the LL Cool J collection. It's a brand that people can trust. It's a brand that people are familiar with. It's a brand that everyone from, an 11-year-old to somebody's grandmother is familiar with. Everybody knows the LL Cool J brand and knows that if I'm associated with it, it's going to be a certain level of quality and flavor. And, that's why I think people are gravitating towards it. I had a very successful clothing line in the 80s called Truth. After that, I had a very successful clothing line in the 90s called Fubu. I also have a Todd Smith brand as well, which is more of a luxury-oriented brand, and that's out there as well. But the LL Cool J collection is the brand that I'm really focusing on.
Okay, definitely, man. Let's get to the music, man. You put out a stellar album, man, Exit 13, man.
Yeah.
No, this ain't no industry talk, baby. I'm in the streets. They loving it, man. What was your state of mind creating that beautiful project, man?
Yo, what I wanted to do with the Exit 13 record is just do a record that I loved, and do some music that I'm a fan of, and do some music that made me move and moved me as an artist and moved me as a fan, and wasn't about gimmicks and tricks. It was about great music, and that's what I went to do. And I wouldn't stop. I worked on it for 2 years. I really took my time with it, and I'm very, very pleased with the way people are receiving it and the way they're embracing the project. That's why I continue to promote it. That's why I'm staying involved with it. That's why I've released this new Mr. President video off the album, because this is a very special record, and I think spectacular things sometimes take time for people to really grasp onto.
Mr. President, with all due respect, wish we could have a conversation. I would take a trip down to your residence and we would talk about the state of the nation.
If I had the opportunity to talk to the president, it would be to all the things that I said. And the record is not only directed at the current president, the record is directed towards anyone who's the holder of that high office. Those questions apply, whether you're talking to Bush, whether you're talking to McCain or whether you're talking to Obama. Those questions for the presidents are still relevant and still apply.
There's a term, one man can't raise a child, you need a whole village. And as people, what can we do to change this whole, because it's bad out here, a lot of people are hurting, man. What can we do to change?
Well, I think it's just one step at a time. I think it all starts with just seeing your way out of it. When it's darkest, that's when you can see the stars, the clearest. Other than that, just have faith in God and faith in yourself, and we'll make it out of it. You know what I'm saying? But it is a matter of faith. It's a matter of being open to that whole idea of succeeding. Some people are so closed-minded that they can't even see themselves succeeding.
How do you feel about the state of hip-hop right now, as far as the new artists trying to blossom?
I think the state of hip-hop is great, man. I think that there's a lot of artists who are giving the world their interpretation of hip-hop. They're giving the world the music that they love, the music that's close to their hearts, the music that's important to them, the music that feels good in their spirits. And I think that's great. You know what I'm saying? I mean, things are going to grow, things are going to mature. Different farmers are going to plant different crops. Life is like that. But I definitely feel good about hip hop. BoomDizzle.com is a huge thing for me. It's a way for me to create a platform for thousands of artists. A lot of artists will jump off of BoomDizzle.com and become famous. There's a lot of talent that I have my eye on Boom Dizzle right now that isn't even aware that I'm watching. And I'm just looking at their work ethic and looking at how they, continue to put new music up and listening to the quality and the consistency of the music. And ultimately, a lot of those groups are gonna be successful and they're gonna blow up. So I've totally embraced the whole concept of the internet and what it means to music and what it means to our hip hop culture. And I want to use my influence and my space within the community to help these other artists take their lives to the next level.
What type of advice would you give these young kids that's trying to be where you're at right now, as far as the grind, because the grind is a very important thing in the industry? What advice would you give them?
My advice would be to focus on the possibilities, not the limitations. I think a lot of us, you know, we have a tendency to focus on the lack, the limitations, and what we feel can't happen or that looks impossible. I don't believe in it's too good to be true.
Bud, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Miss Bud? Can you hear the words that are coming out of my mouth?
What's going on here?
Georgia, are you okay? Georgia.
You have any movies that you're working on?
Movie-wise, right now, you know, I have some things in development, but you know, and I'm leaving all of the doors open in that area. I have some people that have approached me with quite a few, you know, many different scripts. But I just, I've been really focusing on my Exit 13 project, focusing on the LL Cool J collection and Boom Dizzle, and really just putting my energy into that. Shout out to boomdizzle.com, to my whole LL Cool J collection, The Violator. You know, everybody, Codeine, the whole crew out there, love y'all. Peace.